Okay, team, we're going to go over how to write the slope-intercept form of a linear equation given a graph. Quick reminder, linear means your graph is going to have a straight line. Now, let's go over quickly what slope-intercept form is, so you know how you're going to be writing your equation. Slope-intercept form is going to look like this equation right here. We're going to have y equals mx plus b. Now, you won't actually have the letters m and b in your final equation. So let's go over what m and b will be. M is your slope. Now, slope essentially means the rise over the run of your line. And you're like, what the heck does that mean? Also, you could call it the change in y over the change in x. Again, what does that mean? Okay, basically what slope means is if we go right 1 unit on our graph from a given point, how many units, it's hard to write and talk at the same time, how many units, just keeping it real, how many units will we go up or down to the next point? Now, if we're going up, our slope is going to be positive. If we're going down, our slope will be negative. Okay. Now, the b in your equation, that is for the y-intercept. Now, what is the y-intercept? Good question. Y-intercept is essentially where the line crosses or intercepts with the y-axis. You can also think of it as when x equals 0, what does y equal? If you want to think about it in coordinate points, it'd be the point x equals 0, and what does y equal when x equals 0? Okay, so your final equation will be in this form, but instead of having the m and the b, you'll have numbers that represent the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so that's what slope-intercept form looks like. So how to write the equation given a graph. So let's say we have this graph, this lovely graph I drew on the right. What do we look for in the graph to write our equation? Basically the two things we just went over, the y-intercept and the slope. Okay, so again, the y-intercept is the point 0. So when x is 0, what is y? Again, it's the point where the line crosses or intercepts with the y-axis. So it's going to be this point right here. So in this case, our y-intercept, our b in the equation, equals positive 3. Okay, slope's a little more complicated than y-intercept, but it's not bad. So slope, again, is your change in y over your change in x. Another way to think about it is if we go 1 unit right, not left, but right, 1 unit right, how many units are we going up or down? Okay, so our slope in this case, if we're going from this point right here to, let's say, this point because it intersects with lines nicely. So we are going right 1 unit right, and for every 1 unit right, we are going down 2 units, right? So we're going from 3 to 2 to 1. Our point there is 1, 1. Our point up here is 0, 3. So to get from 0, 3 to 1, 1, we're adding 1 going right. plus 1 going right. This is getting a little messy over here, but hopefully you can still understand what I'm trying to say here. And to go from 3 to 1, we subtract 2. So in this case, our slope, or the m, our change in y over change in x, our y is changing by -2. We're going down 2. Our x is going right 1, so positive 1. So you could write -2 over 1, but it's the same thing as just saying -2. Okay, so this is not your answer, though. We don't just need to know what b and m are. We actually need to write it in the equation form. So again, that equation form is going to be y equals your lovely slope times x plus b. Now remember, you're not replacing the y, the equal sign, the x, or the plus sign. The only thing you're replacing here is the m and the b. So let's rewrite this equation based on what we just found. We're going to have y equals m, which is our slope of -2, times x plus b. In this case, b is 3. So that would be your answer right there. That is how you write a slope-intercept form of a linear equation given a graph.